Today we're going to go through a list of things I hate about my BMW M2. For starters is starting the engine. There's no quiet start option, and I really wish that they did have a quiet start option because my neighbors in this townhouse here live right above me, and that would be their living room up there and their bedroom is back there. And this thing is not quiet when we start it, so let's listen to it right now. And I really wish that there was a way to make it just a little bit more quiet on startup, because I really feel bad about all the noise this thing makes upon startup. Now, before we get into the second thing I hate about this BMW M2, let me just state that these are in no particular order, and I love this car. This car is great. If you have not been a long-time subscriber, my previous car was a Shelby GT500. It was the 2012 model, and I love that car, but you know, it was a little bit hard to let go and trade for the BMW M2. But now that I have the BMW M2, there's no question that this is a much better car. It handles better. It's a joy to drive. I absolutely love this car. You know, I love the Shelby, but I also love the BMW M2, and I really like this car more so far. Anyway, the second thing that I hate about the BMW M2 is this little thing right here slides. And I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'5". When I get into this car, I got to kind of, you know, maneuver into it weird. And I put my arm on this thing when I get in, and it slides forward, and there's just like little plastic thing right here your arm goes against, and it's really just not a nice feeling. So what I try to do is just keep this thing forward already when I'm getting in the car, so it doesn't abruptly slide and I hit my arm on that, or just be extra conscious about not pushing it forward when I get in the car. So that's the second thing I hate about the BMW M2. The next thing I hate about my BMW M2 is actually the traction modes, which I love the traction modes, but there are some things I really dislike about them, and that being the sport and comfort modes. Basically, this car, to my knowledge, always starts up in comfort mode, and you have to manually put it into Sport Plus, which is really the only mode that any BMW M2 driver, if you're buying an M car, you're buying this thing to have a performance car, and you're never going to be driving it in comfort mode. And so it's just kind of annoying that every single time I start the car, I have to switch it to Sport Plus. It just isn't, it doesn't let me retain that setting of Sport Plus, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, leave a comment in the section below for me and correct me there, because I really dislike that. The second part of the traction control thing that I don't like is the exhaust pops. Seems to be this special mode that allows the exhaust to have a lot more pops and crackles than any other mode, and it's not the Sport Plus. It's actually this snow driving mode, which is very strange because, I mean, you can put it in Sport Plus and then you have to like tap traction off, and then let me show you on the menu here how it looks. So you hit, if you're on Sport Plus, you hit traction off, and that switches it to this mode, and that's the mode that allows you to have these great, very loud exhaust pops. And the problem with it is it keeps the throttle response in comfort mode. So it's like, you know, driving an old Buick or something, basically, and it just doesn't add up really. So it's like a snow driving mode, which actually works really well for driving in the snow, but the only way to get the exhaust pops, to my knowledge, is to put it in that snow mode, which gives you the slow throttle response. And I mean, it's nice for like cruising, if you just want to like cruise around and look cool and make the car sound cool, but you're not going to want to like drive in the snow mode with the slow throttle response. Okay, the next thing that I hate about the BMW M2 is the space above the clutch pedal. Now, I'm 6'5" and I wear a size 14 shoe, so this might not be a big problem for everybody, and it's really not a big problem for me once I figured it all out, kind of. But my foot, and this probably you're not going to be able to see very well down there, but my foot tends to kind of touch the top of like the dashboard down there a little bit on occasion, and it's just really kind of a minor discomfort. You know, like I said, I've kind of like I got used to like adjusting my foot to the proper way, so it doesn't really happen very often. But you know, if there's just a little more clearance down there for my big size 14 shoe, that'd be nice. Just one minor little complaint there. And here's another thing that kind of sucks about the BMW M2, which I actually don't really mind, but I know a lot of people complain about it and talk about it, and that is the auto rev matching. So personally, when I got this car and I found out it had auto rev matching on downshifts, you know, I was kind of up in the air about it. I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, because I felt like I was kind of cheating and it wasn't true to the car enthusiast nature to have auto rev matching on downshifts. But like now that I'm used to it, and it is strange getting used to, I really like it a lot. Like it just makes the driving experience so much better. Like you still have the manual transmission, and you know, you're in control in that aspect, and you have the clutch. But on the downshifts, it's just great. Like it's perfect every time. The rev match is perfect, and you can like blip through the gears so quickly. It's really enjoyable. But the only way to turn off the auto rev matching downshifts is to turn off all traction control systems completely. And you know, that means you're turning off not only traction control, but stability control as well. So I mean, if you're driving hard and kicking the back end out a little bit here and there, it's great to have it in Sport Plus, because it'll let you drift a little bit and catch you. You know, if you get too out of control, the stability will kick in and save you. I mean, it's not going to work miracles, but it will save you. It saved me quite a few times already. But if you turn off all stability control systems completely, you'll have that ability to turn off the auto rev match on downshifts, but you know, you also lose that total safeguard, or what, you know, the safeguard of catching you in the case that you're gonna spin out your BMW M2 and crash into a curb or whatever. So I know a lot of people complain about that one. I don't really mind it. You know, I always, on public streets here, I keep my stability control on, because I'm not an idiot. You know, on my Shelby, I tried turning off all the systems before in the past, and I've spun the car out. I'm lucky to have never crashed that car, but you know, keep that stability on public streets for your own good and the people around you as well. So yeah. And my last complaint I have about the BMW M2 is there is not a remote start on the manual transmission. And I know that's pretty standard practice. You know, if you buy a manual transmission, you're not going to get that remote start option generally, but it is possible to do. Like, it's possible in the aftermarket. You know, so it's just a minor complaint, minor gripe. I keep my car garaged, so it's really not that big of a deal, really. But I mean, for those times when you just want to like warm up the engine a little bit before you hop in the car and get out for a drive, it'd be really great just if, you know, I could just open the garage door, remote start it from upstairs, and let the car warm up for 5 minutes, so everything's ready to rock and roll by the time I get down and get in the car. So just one minor complaint, you know, please BMW, put that auto start in these BMW M cars with the manual transmission. It can be done, and you can do it, so just do it, please.